Welcome to What's Your Story, where we, Jamie Marco,
and Stan Brown,
delve into the extraordinary lives of everyday people.
Listen in as we uncover the unique tales that shape who we are,
one story at a time.
Hey, let's get ready to explore today's story.
Let's do it.
Are we on? Are we on?
We are now. Hi, Dad.
Oh, Jamie, let me get straightened out here.
I know. Look at Dad. Listen, it is a crazy day today. You came in hot. You look nice.
Thank you.
You're like super matchy match. You got navy blue and you're like so dapper.
I do my best.
I love it. Hello. So excited to see you. We have an incredible guest today who I like to call my superhero.
Superman's on?
Yeah. Well, I think he is a Superman. I think he's a Superman. Should we just let him in?
But Batman was a human who could do super things. He wasn't Superman.
I think he's Superman. Should we let him in?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. We're going to short intro today. We're going to let our guest in right away. We'll have him come on in, but you guys might know each other.
I don't know Batman.
Well, I'm not saying you don't know Batman, but I've never seen you both in the same room at the same time.
Possibility.
I mean, just putting it out there. You just never know, right? You just never know. I mean, you could be Batman. Like, you could be Batman. Hi!
Hello,
Speaking of
Batman. Good morning.
superheroes, you're on mute, my friend. We want to see you. We want to hear you. We want to feel you in the room, your presence. Hello.
How are you guys?
So much better.
She's a little off the charts.
Okay.
Chris, have you ever met my dad, Stan, before? I don't know if you guys have ever
No,
crossed.
I don't think I've met him.
Oh, nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to
So-
meet you as well.
I was just telling him that I don't even know if you remember this, but you were my superhero many, many years ago. Do you know the story I'm about to tell?
Yep, I remember.
So I showed up. What was that? It was for like,
your computer, right? You didn't have that. Something was wrong with your computer, and you used my computer, I think.
yes, you were like amazing. I went to do this big presentation for like the Builders Association or something. He was there doing something. I was in a panic. It wouldn't work. And he swooped in, saved the day.
Get this utility belt.
And
I was there with Debbie Turner,
Yes.
she brought me, and then she introduced me to you, and I think there was something going on, and I just happened to have my computer or something.
Serendipity once again.
I mean, seriously, like, and first of all, Debbie Turner, obviously amazing human as well, too. So you are who you hang out with. So there you go. No wonder you're amazing as well. Good to see you. I know that it's been a little bit tricky getting you scheduled, so I'm so glad that you found time for us to connect. And we're excited to share your unique story with the world. It's my actual time to, pay it back because you had me on your podcast many years ago.
Yes.
But before we get started, Chris, let's ask you this question. So, listener, our guest, we are recording now. Our guest is Chris Kiblin. You will learn more about him as we continue the conversation. But Chris, what is your number today on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being a day where it is the best day you have ever lived. There is not a worry in the world, incredible day. To a 1 being a day that you should not be peopling. Yep, we made that a verb. Because just your energy would be contagious in the bad way.
And fractions count like 0.25, 0.50, points. I'm going to guess what is.
Are we talking about just today, or
right now? Like not even like
right
this
now?
very moment.
Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. I used to work in a carnival. This is top row stuff.
Okay.
Hold on a second.
I would say probably right now we're probably somewhere in the 8s or so. I mean,
Close.
I had a very difficult closing that we got pushed through last night.
Oh.
So
Are there any easy closings?
no, there's no, not in this world anymore. I mean, so it was just, something that came up, weren't expecting it, and it was very difficult to get it fixed. But we did it. We got the customer clear to close, and it's a family. The wife is pregnant and she's due any day now. So they were like counting on this house to move into.
Oh, wow.
And so we got it just in time. She hasn't gone into labor yet, but she's due any minute. So it was a good thing for her to get all this, and they needed a place to go live with their newborn. And so it was a happy day.
What time did the closing start?
What's that?
What time did it start?
Well, closing is today at 2:00. So
I thought you didn't close it last night then.
No. We just got our what we call our clear to close in mortgages. So we got our clear to close last night. So the stress for everybody I mean, we've been stressing this for about 2 weeks now.
Doesn't that occasionally happen actually during the actual closing? That's worse.
I've had a few issues during a closing. It just depends on, like, usually it's more of a, we didn't get the wire or something like that from the lender, type of thing where they were sitting around waiting, right? So that's usually the biggest thing. I mean, by the time you go to closing, everything is done. It's all been underwritten, everything's finalized. I guess probably one of my worst closing is like when you go to closing, I mean, sometimes there's 50 documents there.
Sure.
And I had a customer who decided he wanted to read every document.
Was he an
And
attorney?
huh?
Was he an attorney? Was that my husband?
It was I think he was an engineer. Engineers are like that too.
Yeah.
So he just wanted to read every document. So the attorney's like, here's the packet, let me know when you're done. And he went and worked and let him read everything. And
Did you have hair earlier in the week?
I know, right? I mean, this job has gotten rid of all my hair.
Well, and I think it's so cool. So, listener, as you can probably tell, Chris works in the mortgage world, and that's not what this call is about. But I will say something that I love how you take your your viewpoint of when you're working with families and clients and you put that a lot of times on social media and you talk about their story a little bit and I love how you call out stuff like that just like you did with this family today because I think what's really different about you is that you focus not just on the work that you're doing but the people that you're helping to support and so we'll talk more about that that comes through to you you're so authentic and like as you did you saved me that day so you really are so there to help other people I love it let's go back in time and kind of talk about how you got to this
You can do
point.
that?
I can. Like I'm gonna be Marty McFly. We're gonna go back, or yes.
Jamie's got that power.
Yeah, be careful.
Think she does.
Uh,
Okay.
so Chris, where did you I feel like you're from the Midwest originally, is that right? No, I'm totally
I'm
wrong.
actually from Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore. Oh my gosh. Good morning,
Yep.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I've been
Um,
You
born and
digress.
raised there.
what's that? You were born and
I was
raised at
born
so
and
what
raised
age?
there. Until I was about 40. So, but
Oh,
yeah, so I spent a lot of my childhood though also in upstate New York in West Point. That's where all my family's at. So every summer I was there. So a little bit of back and forth. But my main place was, Baltimore, that surrounding areas. Grew up in the hood. Parents didn't have very much money. So we didn't, um, but they made it out of it. So, I mean, not greatly out of it, not, but we did grow up very poor. And so I think that's part of why I am today that I am.
You're giving money away, man. Give it away.
Well, now I give money away, right? So I'm the man with the money.
do you
So
have
yeah,
siblings? Did you have siblings growing up?
I have three stepsisters. So I don't
Evil?
what's that?
Evil? Just kidding.
No, no. So I have three stepsisters, and then so no like full siblings from my parents got divorced when I was not even less than 1 years old.
Really? So
Yeah.
so when you say you grew up in poverty, who were
Mhm.
you living with at the time when that was going on?
So
Your mom.
my mom and my stepdad, they didn't have very much money. So things were just tight back then, and so we didn't have very much, and then my stepdad's parents didn't they were even worse than us. So it was, but we managed and we did what we had to do, and
Right.
one
Well, I had a
thing
similar situation, but it's funny when you're there, you don't know what you don't have.
exactly.
So it's just you just go about your own daily
But
business.
what did that look like for you? Like now, I mean, was that the case for you when you were there? Did you not really know what you didn't have, or did you experience it based on like was it what was the biggest impact on your
So
life?
the biggest impact for me is that when I remember when I was 11 years old, and this is kind of a story, I actually think I put it in my book. When I was 11 years old, I remember going to my parents and asking them. I was very much into like fish aquariums and stuff like that, and I wanted this fish aquarium, and they're like, "We don't have the money. If you want it, you're gonna have to go work for it." And I learned very early that if I wanted anything, I had to work, right? So all my friends that are 11 years old, 12 years old were out playing, riding bikes and stuff like that. And I'm actually out looking for work. Found a place, if you guys remember Beta. Do you remember Beta videos?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was before VHS. So that's
Yeah.
like really old,
Yeah,
right?
like the thicker, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah. So
the
that was like the
cartridge and all
first.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That was like the first like VHS tapes that you could watch movies on.
Mhm.
And I went to a shopping center, and the guy gave me a job cleaning his building, like inside of his building, the floors.
At
Back
11 years old.
at 11 years old, I was scrubbing floors at 11 years old. And so, but I made money and I made enough money to go buy my fish tank and do what I wanted. And then I started doing other stuff like shoveling snow, raking leaves, cutting grass.
Did your
Uh,
family plan a fish dinner after
Fish now. I mean, not
that?
eat my fish.
Yeah. But well,
So,
so that's where like your entrepreneurial spirit started then. I
yeah.
mean,
So that's kind of where it all started because I learned at a very young age that if you want anything in life, if you wanted it bad enough, then you figure out how to make it work. So I started that and started doing other things and just kind of built that. And then my mother worked for a restaurant, Crab House, and started bussing tables when I was 13. And busting like people come in and eat crabs and clean up all their stuff. And I actually started. I was making really good money. I mean, I'd walk away with like $100 a night.
Ooh, baby.
wow.
Well, crabs are expensive, so
Yeah.
and
This was a
so
while back. Yeah. If you were like
yeah,
in your teens, that was not yesterday. Yeah.
that was good money. So I mean, I'd work
And
probably
it's
three.
Baltimore, so you're right, like the fresh crab right there. Like, yeah.
So I mean, Maryland's big for their steamed
Yeah.
crabs.
Yeah.
And so, that's the thing. So I worked there and I was making good money and then and just kind of going on from there.
Wow. So what do
Yeah.
you, so you said you're, for lack of a word, you used word hood, and then you're going to school, you're working and you're doing these things. How did you keep yourself out of the path of trouble? Because a lot of times what we see is that kids that come, and this is not a generalization, just like you see sometimes if kids, they can get down the path of trouble or the path that you went through, right? Like, how did you not go down that path? And maybe you did. Maybe, I don't know. I know you've got a military,
Don't make
but
us.
you do have a military background as well too, right? So kind
Yeah.
of guide us down that path.
And so, I never really went down that path because it was my dad, my real dad, was a cop. He was a Baltimore County cop. So like that was still in place. So like I mean, I had some discipline from them. So like that was nothing that I ever thought about doing, never really. I just thought that if I wanted something, I had to work for it. So I would much rather go do something than go be in jail. Just wasn't my thing. I just never had, that wasn't, I always like looked at the worst pay, if I do something stupid, I don't want to end up in jail. And so, my dad would tell me stories and stuff like that. So, that kind of probably hindered me from doing things like that. There is because the thing is like, I mean, I did have a pretty bad childhood growing up, with my parents being divorced and everything else. And I could have very easily taken that kind of path. But I had good friends and people that I talked to. And of course, my dad was a cop. So I just was I've always been disciplined, but I've always been very, I hate to use this word, but money hungry. And so I worked and stayed out of trouble. And so that's what I did. And I was the one that also like took care of the house. I was the one that cleaned the house. I was the one that made sure the yard was taken care of. Put the trash out, did everything around the house as well. So I kind of kept myself busy. And none of that ever really came to mind.
And how was it staying in school with all those external challenges? And it had to
So
go.
in some ways, my grades weren't the best, but school was an escape for me because of the family life and just I mean I didn't get along with my stepfather at all. And the marriage, divorce and everything else, my parents didn't talk, like my real parents didn't talk. So for me, I wanted to go to school just to get away from all that. That was kind of like my escape. So I mean, I didn't miss a day of school until probably 11th grade. I mean, I went every day. I had like perfect attendance. And so, but that was because I went there to more socialize than anything else. I didn't really go there to learn.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I learned and graduated and everything, but I wasn't the best student, and I didn't use it to my advantage. It was more just to go there and see my friends and hang out and see them in class and that kind of thing.
But in all fairness, C students run the world.
So,
That's
Yeah,
right.
there you go.
I mean, and that's what I was. And I was just, I got some good grades when I applied myself, but I be honest with you, I hated school. I hated like education. But it was more of a social thing. Even college, when I went to college, I went for, I don't know, about a year and a half, and then I dropped out.
Where'd you
Um,
start? Where'd you go?
Strayer University.
Is that in Baltimore?
It's like yeah, it's in Baltimore, but it's like you can either do online. They're all over the place, all over the country. They have different campuses. And so, but it's almost like I guess it's like a step up from community college.
Okay.
And so I went there and hated it. I was like, and also I was like, I needed to work because my wife, we had our first child, and I was like, well, I can either go make money for us or I can go to school. And then so we needed the money, so I was working like two or three jobs.
How old were you then? 20?
20, yeah. So my first child I had when I was 21 and she was 20.
We owe you a childhood.
So what's that?
We owe you one childhood.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It sounds like
yeah.
yeah, but so then so you went and got a job, but you served time in the military as well too. So when did that show up?
I went in when I was 18. So after I got out of high school, I joined the Army. And the reason I went into the Army is, again, I wanted to get away from my family. And so I decided, and I didn't have the grades to go away to college like most of my friends, and all my good friends were leaving to go to college. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, well, I can't get into college or go somewhere else. So that's why I joined the military. And my whole family was like major I'm not saying my whole family, but the majority of my family was previous military and all Army. So I was like, I kind of followed their footsteps.
Mhm.
My I had three different grandfathers because one of them died, and then but they were all Army. My uncles were Army. So like I had like a big presence of Army, and that's why I would when I went to New York, we went to West Point, which is Army.
Mhm.
And so and my grandfather was stationed there. And so we were always up there, and that's how that whole thing started.
And you
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
and you
Yeah.
served 3 years, you said? About 3 years?
So I served, well, it was reserves. So it was 6 years of 6 years of active reserves and then 2 years of inactive reserves.
Got it.
So and then because when I got out, that's when like I got I got married 4 months later after I got out of boot camp and training. And then a month later, my ex-wife was pregnant.
Did you think the boot camp was training for a marriage?
No. I was just it kind of just the whole marriage thing just kind of happened.
Was it
Um,
a high school girlfriend or
well, she was in high school and I had just gotten graduated.
okay.
And so when I met her, it was kind of weird. So we were both working at a mall, like a strip mall, and I was selling right before I just went there to go get a job before I was leaving to go to basic training, selling furniture, and she worked in a shoe store, and we got to know each other that way. And we kept talking while I was gone, and then, and everything else. And then when I came back, we were talking, and we were going to move in together. And her mother came to her and said, well, if you move in together, I'm not going to pay for your wedding. And so she's like, want to get married? I'm young and stupid. I'm like, sure, why not? And so that's how we ended up getting married. But we were married for 30 years. And then a month later she got pregnant and after we got married. So we had our first son. I was 21 and I was right. I was just about 21 or 20 no, 22. I was almost 22 and she had just it was on her 21st birthday. She went in labor
Oh,
because
cool.
her birthday is April 14th and my son's birthday is April 15th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so on her 21st birthday, she was she was sitting there, and so we thought for a minute there we thought they were both going to have the same birthday,
Yeah.
but he held out for like 3 more hours.
That's what
Like, I'm not sharing. Then we called him our little tax baby because he was April 15th.
Ah, there you go. And you paid for it ever since.
I'm still paying
We
for
all
it.
have.
I know.
Damn
I know.
kids.
My dad calls me that too, but my birthday's not in April.
We used to call it deduction.
Deduction. Yes,
Give me a
exactly.
deduction. Let's play.
Nice.
So then you were in Baltimore up until the age of 40. What did you like? What were you doing? So at 21, you had your son, you come out of the
Mhm.
military. What was your life like then? Like what did you do to manage?
So basically, I came out and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I went and I got my life and health license, and I was selling life insurance for about 6 months. I was doing door-to-door knocking, and
Wow.
I was like, "This sucks."
Wow.
And so,
Lifelong salesman, right? Or what does that
I
mean?
couldn't pass those tests. It's a tough test to pass,
It
both
is,
of
yeah.
those.
yeah, so I went and I got my those, and then I was doing door-to-door knocking, and I was like, "Okay, this isn't really for me," and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. And I was like, well, again, going back to the money thing, I love making money. I want to make money. Well, who has money? Banks have money. They have lots of money. I was like, maybe I'll go get a job at a bank. And so, I don't know if you guys remember, but when they used to have banks and grocery stores. So I worked for Chase Bank. I went and got a job with Chase Bank inside a grocery store.
Mhm.
And because and actually I got it in because I did have my life and health license, so I could sell like annuities and stuff like that. But I was the
You,
teller
well,
too.
during that time, were you living the same poverty line now that you were a father, young father and like son, or did you kind of were you able to
No, but we actually started doing well because my wife was working too at the time. So we were working, I was working, and the income that I was making from my job as in the bank was a lot more. Um, and before that, actually, so back then, so the Baltimore Sun had a thing called where you could be a distributor. So basically, so basically, we had a territory,
Mhm.
and we also did this too. So you had a territory. So I had like a 1,500 customers that we
Ooh,
delivered papers to.
Oh wow.
And we ran everything. We did all the billing. We did all the other thing. It was a business.
this home
So,
delivery?
yeah, home delivery.
Who delivered the papers? You guys do?
Yep, yep. Every night I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning delivering papers, and then I go to work at the bank. So
Who watched your son while you guys were both
my
working?
my wife, so she didn't really. So once we had our son, for the most part, she didn't work. I worked a bunch of different jobs, so she didn't have to.
Yeah. But when you
'Cause it was-
talk, so I think about you now and like you're all about the hustle. You are, it's in your DNA.
yeah.
Like you're not just one of those like people that's like using that term like hustle. Like you really have hustled your whole life. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's just kind of been born with me, and so it's not been easy. I mean, because the thing is you have your ups and downs. I've lost everything. I've, then built everything and lost it again. And so, just a couple years ago, I mean, I think I was sick. So, but no, I've always done that. And like one of the biggest things, like when it came to my kids, is that I wanted to make sure that they had the family life that I didn't have. And so I really stressed that. I wanted us as a family to be together and really be connected. So she was home and she could take care of them, and be there for them instead of having to put them in, um, daycare or anything like that.
Mm.
So I mean, there's times I was working 3 jobs. I was delivering pizzas, I was delivering papers, and then working at the bank. There was even one time that I was even a waiter for a while. Hated it, but I did it. So, you just kind of figure out how to make things work. And then once I got into the banking world, my career just kind of took off from there because when you were working inside a grocery store, it was like retail banking because it was 7 days a week, and it was like a retail store, like a working in retail. People didn't last, so I moved up very quickly, because I could sell. And so before I knew it, within a year I was a branch manager and
Wow.
running the location. And then
At what age?
23 probably.
Wow. Wow.
And so I ran that for a while, and then I worked it there, but then I went to another bank that was a so then I got out of that after I became a branch manager and went to a brick and mortar, the regular bank, M&T Bank, and went there and was working there. And hours were better. I mean, obviously they weren't open on Sundays, but there's a lot of times you still work 6 days a week.
But also great opportunity for growth.
Well, that's where I went. And so it was growth. And then before I knew it, I had a bigger location. Then I had multiple locations. And then I got into commercial lending.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so this kind of a path that I took. I liked commercial lending, but then the thing I didn't like is it's I'm not a paper person. Like I can't sit here and just look at papers and taxes all day. And so like a lot of the clients that we had to sit there and read like
Sure.
their taxes and we had to so ever like there'd be like quarterly taxes and make sure that their loans are still good and we can still pay it or we can still extend it. Every year we would do a financial checkup on the customer. So like that kind of stuff just kind of got old for me. And I was like, okay, this and then also the banks would like the way the banks work is like if you don't have positive cash flow, then they don't want to do anything with you. Well, most of my clientele didn't have that. So I was like, all right. So then that's when I got into retail mortgages. I left there and actually went and worked for a company where we did cold calls. I did that for about 2 years.
Commission based or salary plus?
So basically what we got is we got the leads and then we would call them. So and they were called trigger leads. The thing everybody hates right now, when you apply for a mortgage. But this was like back in 2010, and wasn't as big back then. But basically, we would get leads, and once we got a lead, we would call that lead and say, "Hey, we saw that we know that you just applied for a mortgage." Or or that, and then and then try to sell them and convince them to come with us.
Mhm.
Commission based though, Chris, or what?
Oh yeah.
All only commission?
Hmm.
Oh, I have lived that life.
I
We
still live
both
it.
have. I live it now.
I live it now too. So
Yeah.
it
People don't
doesn't.
understand that, right? It takes a
Yeah.
different type of person that cannot have the what's the word I want to think? The consistency, knowing where your paycheck's going to come from, knowing that you're going to have
But
a
you get
paycheck.
paid what you're worth.
Right. You're hungry and you want to deliver, you want to over deliver so that people trust in you and stuff like that. So, I mean, listen, we can talk in a minute about your reputation has been tremendous and you give back so much to veterans today as well too. You had said that there had been ups and downs, right? You had everything, then you lost everything. I would imagine that that was indicative of sometimes the market and everything. At 40, you moved to Florida. Is that when you moved to Florida at the age of 40? What prompted that move to go from Baltimore or West Point to Florida?
So basically, what we did is we came down here on I think it was our 20th anniversary, and we came down here and just we fell in love with the place,
What part of Florida?
Sarasota.
Okay, that's our friend.
And so we came down here and we had just gotten 2 feet of snow in Maryland, and my
That's a
wife.
sign. That's a sign.
No, that's what she said. She's like, I am so done with this. She goes, I don't know how we're going to do it. She goes, but we're moving to Florida. She goes, either you can come with me or not, but I'm going to Florida. I'm like, okay. And I didn't really believe her, but
Yeah.
then things just kind of happened. So I went back and so I went back to retail banking. So what I did was I went and I got a job as a branch manager, where it was a salary plus, commission, small commission. Like you didn't make much, but it was a big salary. And so I went back to that, and then I transferred down here because I was working for Wells Fargo. Transferred down here, took over the Ellington branch, and that's right by the outlet.
Sure.
And I took over that branch and I was there. But what that did was that gave me income, right? Because I needed to show that I had income in order to run a house or buy a house or do anything down here. So that's why I took that job. I lasted 3 months, quit, hated it, because it just wasn't my thing. Everything has changed so much with the banking. Every how many checking accounts did you open? How many savings accounts did you open?
All
And
numbers. Sure.
Yeah.
it got to the point it was just ridiculous. And the other thing is that before when I was in retail banking, they would let you leave the office to go out and get business. and they wouldn't let me leave the office.
Ooh, and then for someone who doesn't like paper and wants to be with people, I
You were
can you're
you
suffocating.
were in prison.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
suffocating.
I felt like I was in
Yeah.
prison. And so like for me, that was like, I'm like, what do you mean I can't go out and get business? Because I would go out to business partners, like business, like go visit our business customers, be
Yeah.
like, hey, we used to call it bank at work and talk to their employees about getting accounts. So if they had 10 employees, I go talk to them. And that's how,
Absolutely, it's great growth.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
People miss
and
they miss the mark. We had like they just get so stuck sometimes with their blinders, they don't realize the potential that could be there if you just took those
Yeah, but
blinders
the really
away.
large, any large institution, large banks especially, they have a rigid format and they don't
Mhm.
deviate from that.
yeah. And the thing is like, so for me, that was like, okay, well, you expect me just to sit here and like, who am I calling or how am I going to go get,
Sure.
like, for me, I was very good at going out and getting the business and bringing it back. I wasn't great at sitting in behind a desk trying to bring in business.
Yeah.
Like, I am much more of a people person, be in
Sure.
front of them, relationship building. And so that's how I've always built my business.
I love
And so once I couldn't do that, I was like, this isn't for me. So then I went and I sold gym memberships for LA Fitness.
Well, I've
Then
done that. We're like the kindred spirits, Chris.
and then I went and I sold personal training for UFit. And I was like, all right, I'm not making it like hardly any money. I was like, this sucks. So I was like, and I missed the mortgage world. So I went and I got my license, got back into the mortgage business down here because I was worried when I moved down here that I didn't know anybody. And I thought it's going to be very hard for me to build a mortgage business. So, but yeah, I struggled for 2 years and then was like, okay, I was just about to get I was actually going to get out of the mortgage business and get back to retail because I really wasn't closing enough. I mean, we've been
Who were you working for at that time?
where for a mortgage company.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't even remember who was it. They changed their name, but it was like it's Loan Depot now.
Did you require a mortgage license or you worked under their license?
No, so if you don't work for a bank, you have to have a license.
Gotcha.
So banks are the only ones because they're FDIC insured
Sure.
that you don't need a license. So, but any other institution, you have to be licensed. So I got my license and struggled for 2 years, was ready to get out of the mortgage business. I was like, I'm gonna give it one more shot. Came out with this like
Then
crazy
lightning struck.
they came out with this crazy business plan and said, all right, I'm gonna give it 3 to 4 months with this business plan, stick to it, see what happens, and it worked.
What
And
was it? What'd you do differently? Can you share that? Is that your secret sauce?
yeah.
Okay.
No, it's actually in my book too. But the thing is so what I did was I just became a plan how many phone calls I was going to make every day, how many appointments I was going to set every day, how many appointments I was going to go on every day. And really just be really super structured on what I do and follow up with all my clients, have a system for that, have a system for following up with realtors, have a system with getting in front of accountants and financial advisors. So I came up with a whole system of what I needed to do. And I stuck to it and I changed my schedule. I started getting up at 4:30 in the morning, started my day, and really that's kind of how it's changed. And so still do it even till today. Just that I still do the same stuff that I did back then.
Well, I think
So
it's just so
Well, you're
incredible.
in essence, you're in the service business, which you really can't
Yeah.
find today, but it's a
Yeah.
big difference. People notice that.
Yeah. But you do a lot for veterans too, right? Is that because of your family background or
well, I don't do it as much as I should, or I mean, I do some stuff. I mean, I was a part of a board. I sat on a board for Heroes Welcome Home. I was the president for that for a while, and then there's some other stuff that we do for veterans, but it's kind of changed over the years. I actually am more involved with actually a lot of programs that involve kids now, as far as helping kids.
Right.
So like there's one called Sertoma Kids.
Yeah. Oh,
I did a fashion show just recently and we raised almost $20,000 for that.
wow.
And then I just did another thing with 40 carats
Yeah.
for kids with
Were you a soul
YWAM.
man?
Yeah, I was a soulman.
Yeah. So for listener, if you don't know, there's a big event, 40 Carats. It's an incredible organization supporting families that need some extra help and support with a bunch of different things, education and just
Well,
multiple.
they help all kinds of people. Like, I mean, so they just help. So when I was there, they did a big thing. This one woman, she was a single mom, and her child got diagnosed with, I think it was cancer, and they paid for everything.
Mm.
Amazing. Why is that? Why is Sertoma Kids and 40 Carats important to you? Why is it important to work with children or organizations that support that?
I think it's just because of what I went through as a kid,
Hmm.
and what I've seen. So like it's, for me, it's more of I'd rather help. I mean, it's not that I don't want to help other people because I also did Real Men Wear Pink.
Hmm. Breast
So I
cancer
I
awareness.
did
Yeah.
that so for breast cancer.
Hmm.
And so but there's just something about helping children and something about helping them hopefully get to be an adult, grow up if they've gotten whatever
Hmm.
cancer or other things, and hopefully have a normal life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like pretty deep. And so one of the things after I gotten sick and I'm sitting in the hospital,
I want to talk about that in a second. So yeah.
and so I was like, once I got out, my goal was to be a lot more involved in charity work and really help people as much as I can. It doesn't mean here's $1,000. I'm talking about like, okay, well, I am doing like sitting on committees and helping out that way and
Yeah.
doing other things where it's my time
Yeah.
too, right? So, and putting things together to raise money.
So let's talk about that. It's been a year now, I believe, a little over a year.
2 years this
2 years.
January.
Oh wow. So this January, 2 years where, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were faced with your own mortality. Is that right?
I missed died twice.
Yeah.
Mm.
So take us back to because I follow you and like you like before 2 years ago and even now, but like I just you were everywhere. Like you were like I mean every time there'd be an event, there'd be a picture in the newspaper, you were there. There'd be like something online, you were there. Like you were everywhere. I feel like everybody knows who you are. Like just going so strong. You were getting into weightlifting. You were like lifting up. I mean like changed your whole physique, all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden I see this post that is like, oh my gosh, I almost died. I'm like, whoa. So take us back to that before that happened and what led up to that part of your life.
So before I wouldn't talk about it, but so I had actually left my wife in July of 2023. We separated and I was living by myself. After being married for 30 years, it was very different.
Absolutely.
And so when you have somebody that's always there and all of a sudden you have nobody there, there's times that you get depressed,
Mm.
and it was a depressing thing for me. I went in the hospital in July 2024, so about 6 months, right? So here I am thinking, I'm doing the best thing that I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't happy with what was going on in my personal life, and so I started getting to the point in like November where it was just the weather. I don't know if it's the weather or what, but I mean, I actually got super depressed and basically didn't care anymore. And, once Thanksgiving happens and December happens,
Even worse,
especially,
for sure.
well, there's so many events and everything else. I was forcing myself to go out. I was forcing myself to do all these events, even though I knew I was sick, but like I thought I was just sick. I didn't think I had anything else. And I
Children
mean,
are all grown, right? Like your children are all grown. No.
yeah, so I mean, and they weren't here, so basically it was just me. And once I went through that, and I was just forcing myself to go to these events to get out of the house, I didn't want to be at home, because it was like nobody there. It's lonely,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And so you sat there and you just kind of like go through these motions, and he was like, okay, well, I just need to get through New Year's, right? Let me get through these events, let me get through this, and then I'll rest. And this is like the psychological things that were happening in my brain, where I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm fine. I mean, I don't need to go to the doctors. called teledoctor. I got some antibiotics, thought I'd be okay.
What were your
Um,
symptoms? When you say you were sick, like what were your symptoms?
so I mean, I just didn't feel good. I mean, I didn't really and it's crazy because you feel sluggish, you kind of like just don't feel well, like when you're sick, like a normal, like you're just
Yeah, run
you
down.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, run down, that kind of thing. And so I was like, I'm fine. I was like, I just need to get through this. But I'm also the type of guy that will go to the doctor all the time. And for whatever reason, my brain was just not working right. And so I didn't go. And if I would have went to the urgent care, they would have taken a chest x-ray and probably none of this would ever have happened. But I didn't. And so January, not leading all the way up to there. January, I think it was January 9th of 2024. It was a Friday. And my ex-wife, she was trying to get a hold of me and because there were some things that she wanted to talk to me about. And I didn't answer the phone. And she tried to get a hold of me all day. And nothing like, and she's like, okay, well, maybe he's mad at me. He doesn't want to talk to me. She goes, but she just felt like something was wrong.
Hold on, sure.
And so she had my son call and text me, and I will always, like, if it's one of my kids, I always answer. I always call him right back. I always text him right back. And I didn't do that. I was
Were
passed
they
out on
aware of your depression that you were in? Were they aware of the depression that you're feeling? No. Okay.
this wasn't even until much later after all this has happened, till I actually realized all this.
Gotcha.
So Um, he tried to call me, couldn't get a hold of me. And then so she showed up at my house that night around 5 o'clock, banging on my door, and I had been passed out. I'm passed out on my sofa. Didn't realize how bad it is. She's like, "You need to go to the hospital right now." I was like, "Yeah, I know." So we went straight to the hospital. Last thing I remember, it was Friday night getting there, her dropping me off in front of the emergency room, and that's it. I don't remember anything else until I woke up out of a coma.
How many days later?
So I went in on Friday, and it was I was in a coma for almost 5 days. So Friday, I got there Friday. I was in emergency room. Don't remember any of that. Saturday, they put me in what's called PCU, which is just a step below ICU, the monitoring me. And then they were trying to get me to like breathe into different things because they didn't want to incubate me. That's where they put the breathing tube in you,
Okay, yeah.
and then they put you under. Most people don't live through that. It's very bad. It's like the mortality rate is I don't know how, it's like 80-90% or something. I
What did
mean,
you have?
so I had one of the worst cases of acute pneumonia. So one of my friends, her husband is the ER doctor. He runs all the, like, he's like the head ER person at the hospital, and he said that I was the sickest person in the hospital at the time. And so my left lung was completely full of fluid.
Wow.
My right lung was 60% full of fluid. I had two abscesses growing on my lungs that was basically eating my lungs. So they started eat like, because it was so bad um the thing was is that what happened was is then on Sunday they put me in a coma. They put the breathing tube in me. And then like that was like early, like right after midnight or something like that on that Sunday morning. So like right after Saturday. And then brought me back late Thursday. They brought me out of it late Thursday night. So it was like just about 4 to almost 5 days. Um and then brought me back. I could breathe again because basically what they were trying to do is get all the fluid out of my lungs. So basically, like with nothing else, right? So when they put you under and they put you in a coma, induced coma, like, because even though that, like, if you're not in a induced coma, you still have like your eye movement, everything else. There's still other things. So the only thing they wanted my body to do was just fight the infection. So when they brought me out, I woke up. But when I woke up, I had no more use of my right arm. So when I woke up, I couldn't even move my right arm. So basically, I mean, I guess I can't really talk too much about it because we have a pending lawsuit against the hospital. But they didn't do their job. And so when I woke up, I couldn't, like, I was in so much pain with my right arm and I couldn't move it. And so I had to live with that. So I was in the hospital for 35 days
Oof.
and basically going through this as I was getting better. And so it was rough. When
Yeah.
I was there, they told to get the family ready. They thought for sure I was going to die, um, which is part of the reason why there's a lawsuit. Um, and they, I missed died. Right that night when they dropped me off, because if I would have waited another day, my right lung would have been completely
Shut
full of
down, sure.
fluid,
You couldn't
and I
breathe.
would have I would have drowned in my own fluid.
Now,
Wow.
having gone into that in a depressive mental state, what was your state when you finally woke up in the hospital Thursday?
It was it was weird because I was kind of like in a daze almost, when I think about it, because I didn't really know what was going on, because you're kind of like, what happened, because you don't remember, you don't remember any
Sure.
of that. And so I kind of just was like, all right, well, I um felt very strange, and it really didn't hit me until a few days later, of what had happened, because I was just like trying to come out of it and I was still
Mm.
very groggy and everything else. And like a few days later, I was like, then like, um, my wife and my kids were telling me what had happened. And like, so like, then you kind of get that fear of what happened, because they still didn't know if I still might have died. They were still talking about like, you're not out of the woods at all. This could come back and your lungs could fill back up. You have a major infection in your chest, on your lung. So they weren't even sure if I was going to make it.
Chris, did this start as like a bronchitis or something that you just
So
ignored
we
for a long
think
period of time?
we think it started from COVID, and then it went into bronchitis, or it was bronchitis, COVID, then pneumonia, then walking pneumonia, and then into acute pneumonia is what we think
Wow.
happened. And so, and typically I am like the guy that will go to the doctor right away.
Sure.
But for whatever reason, I don't know why. I just was fighting it,
Well,
and
having been depressed all twice in my life, you get to a point in your life where you're in a black hole and you're spiraling down and you
yeah.
don't see any way out. So your whole thinking process is distorted. You're not really acting like yourself at all.
And I
Twice.
mean, part of me was like, and I guess this is terrible to say, but like, I really didn't care. I didn't care if I died. I didn't care what was really happening, because of everything that I'd gone through. And so, it took me a long time to figure that out. Um, and one of the other things is that, you know, I grew up Catholic and very religious, and over the years I had gotten away from it. But since then, since all this has happened, like, sitting in the hospital, like, I just found God again. And so like that kind of helped me and really get me through stuff. And like, because I look at it now, and part of the reason I am the way I am now is that something wanted me to stay here. There was a reason, right? And so I don't know. That's why, like, really, it's more about giving back, and that's why I'm so big into giving back now. It's like, okay, well, there's I'm supposed to do something. Or there's something there, right? And so I kind of have learned that over the last few years. And so, now going, like I said, going this January would be 2 years going into this. It's definitely woken me up. It's definitely like, especially when I talk to people, one of the things that I try to also do is, and I know, Jamie, if you follow me, everything I do is very positive. I try to be very positive on social media and what I do in my life. So what I do is I try to go out there and make it more of a positive world of whatever I can control. Because there's so much negativity out there. And what really, really scares me is more and more, I'm more afraid for my children now, my grandchildren, what this world's going to look like coming, in the next 100 years. Will we even have a planet in the next 100 years? So like that really scares me for my
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
right? So I'm doing what I can do to try to help with that. I mean, there's so much, social media. As much as I love social media, I also have a hate relationship with social media because
Yeah.
of the negativity. I mean, there's stuff going on right now where everybody is just like people put, you know, a group of people as being bad. Um, but you're just grouping them all together when there's a lot of people that aren't like that. You can't just, I mean, there's bad individuals no matter where we are. I mean, even in our small little area, there's bad individuals here
Yeah.
and in Sarasota. So like there's always that, but doesn't make everyone bad. And you can't sit there and say a certain group is bad because of what their beliefs are.
Yeah.
And you're seeing, especially you see it a lot with politics.
Yeah.
I mean, going back and forth with Republicans, Democrats, if you're not this, you're not that. You know what I mean? And it's like it's I really, and I have an issue with, I'm not trying to get into politics, but like everybody has their own agenda and it doesn't matter what side you're on anymore. And the more and more I look at it and the more and more I see it, it's just like we have to do better, and we got to figure out a way for us to really come together more especially as a country.
Yeah.
Uh, and we're not there. And if we keep going down this road and we keep dividing ourselves, it's scary. What's going to happen? Are we going to come to a civil war? Are we going to come to something else? Nuclear war? Who knows? But
Personal note, how's the right arm doing?
so it's good. I can't close it all the way. So like if I do this, like so it's very like so kind of give you an idea if you can
Is
see
that
it.
nerve damage? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so I have major what do you call it, neuropathy.
Yep.
So and it goes all the way, if you guys can see. So like it goes all the way down my arm. So it starts here in my shoulder because that's where the damage is,
Mm,
and then it runs down my arm and into my hand. So like I can't twist it all the way.
sure.
I mean, and again, I'll take it because when I first woke up, I couldn't even move it. I mean, I couldn't even move my fingers. I couldn't do anything.
Are there other effects of being in a coma for 5 days that you're experiencing now? I mean, that's you're almost died. So there's got to be other impacts on your body as well outside of the neuropathy from your arm.
Well, so I mean, getting that sick, I still struggle with my breathing, even after 2 years. I'm trying, like I go and I take there's certain days, like depending on how humid it is, I will have trouble breathing because my lungs aren't, it takes forever for your lungs to get fully recovered after
Sure.
going through what I went through.
Yeah. You're like a
Um,
nebulizer at home or something like that.
and no, I don't really need it, but there is this some days that I struggle with it. The worst part about all this is that, to be honest with you, is the pain medicine.
Mm.
Because I mean, I don't like taking painkillers. I don't like taking any of the like this, the stuff that I'm taking because it also affects my sleep. It affects
Yeah. They're just
things I do.
horrible. Yeah.
And so like, but I can't function without it because I'm in so much pain.
What's the
Um,
pain of your arm or pain of breathing or
the pain in my arm.
pain in your arm?
It's yeah, because I mean, I take gabapentin for like 'cause I have pins and needles in my hands. I take oxycodone for the
Sure.
pain. And then they had me on methadone and they also had me on morphine. But I stopped taking those. I don't take them anymore.
When you wake up from a coma after 5 days, you went in a depressive state. What's the first thing, your first thought coming up? Like, where the hell am I?
That's what it was. It's like
Were you
I had no
intubated when
idea.
you woke up? Were you
What's
intubated when
that?
Were you still intubated when you woke up or no?
Yes. Oh
Oh,
no, no, they taken it out. They had
okay.
taken it out. So they took out the breathing tube, but my throat hurt
It's
Oh,
the
so
sure.
bad.
worst. Yeah, it's the
I
worst
mean, I
feeling.
couldn't even like it hurt like it was major pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I couldn't the only thing I could do was really sip water
Mm-hmm.
for like 2 days. I
And
couldn't
like
even
not even like you think ice cream would help, but it just burns.
well, they wouldn't even give you that.
Yeah.
And so like I had to wait at least 2 days before they started giving me like ice cream or like Jello or something like that, just
Yeah.
because I they were worried that I would choke on it.
So technically, were you on a ventilator during those days?
Yeah, so that's when I was under, that's what I was. I had a ventilator in my all the way down into my chest.
How do
So they put it through.
you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, like that's just wow. It's just first of all, it's
You
so
still need we still need a childhood for this guy. My
no,
God.
but so glad that that was not your time. You know,
So yeah.
when you wake up, your life circumstances haven't changed, right? So now you have this other complications, these other challenges that are coming into your life. How do you find the mental health stability to move forward? Like what helped? You said your faith, which is incredible. But now, obviously, 2 years later, there's still challenges. You're in this pain, you're doing all these things. How are you finding or where are your resources to help you with your mental health now? And you don't have to share if you don't want.
No, that's fine. So no, I don't have a problem with that. So basically, I mean, I've always been positive. I've always had this outlook of I don't know if we have whatever, but one life, right? So I'm living the life that I have right now. And so I don't take it when I was sitting in the hospital for 35 days, and there's many times that I was by myself because visiting hours were only so long.
Mhm.
So I mean, I probably had visiting hours of maybe 4 or 5 hours a day. So you figure, let's just say almost 20 hours a day, 18 hours a day that
Right.
sat there, right, by myself. And and so my wife took my computer, she took my phone. And so the only thing you could really do is watch TV or
Why she take that? So you wouldn't work? So you wouldn't do things?
yes, I wouldn't work
Okay,
because she wanted me to get better.
got
She
it.
knew I would start working and she knew I would start answering phones and I start working and then I wasn't going to take like I needed to get better first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're sitting there and you have your thoughts and when I sat there and when I was praying and when I was going over with my life and everything else, I basically just said to myself, if I make it out of this, I'm just going to live the best life that
Hmm.
I can, be positive about it. Don't let the negativity get to me. I mean, it happens, it still happens.
Sure.
Um, but the
Human.
thing is like you can't let it bring you down and you gotta live with what you have. So I made it the best. I'm making it the best that I can. I don't know how much longer I have left. So I always look at it that from that standpoint is I want to do as much as I can and be a part as much as I can. And I'm a very active person. I've always been a very active person. I just, so for me, it's about being around the right people. It's being about, doing the right things. It's about helping people. I mean, and it's not even just like with the charities, but it's helping my employees, it's helping my business partners, it's helping, my friends or whatever that might be. And just being an overall good person.
Mhm.
And so that's what gets me through it, right? I mean, because I could have very easily again been one of those statistics that just says I'm just going to sit on the couch and do nothing,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have that luxury. First of all, because the thing is like without me working, there's no money, right?
Well, your medical bill for the 35 days must have been insane.
So I mean, I mean, just the hospital was 180,000.
With insurance or without insurance?
Without it. Well, with insurance.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's like 180 grand, but like the thing is that doesn't include the doctors, that include the nurses, that include all the stuff that they did because they did 3 or 4 MRIs on me.
And you
Like
didn't even get a
yeah.
cabana.
No, 180 grand for 35 days
So
just
today you own your own mortgage company, correct?
yeah,
Yes,
correct.
for a while. Yeah. It's called Spartan Mortgage, right?
Barton Capital.
Spartan Capital.
Interesting.
And
Yeah.
you are, I mean, like you've come back minus some of the pain that you're in. You are giving back to the community. You are on your way, still in recovery. I think it just, you are like the perfect example of we never know the story behind someone. Because if someone didn't know you 2 years ago and they see you now, they would
Oh,
never really
sure. Yeah.
know what you like. You are the perfect example of that. No one really knows the story behind things, and it's incredible to see what you've been able to do and recover, but also just like how that hustle from that obviously you got as a childhood has like kept you going throughout it. So you're
Yeah,
incredible.
I just look at it as I guess part of it is you really don't have a whole lot of a choice. This is what I know, and I'm good at it. So, it comes easy to me. You know, I guess, but like, it gets, again, it's about being around the right people, and it's about being around, doing the right things.
Yeah.
And so when all this happened, you really kind of see who your true friends are and people that, come support you and still take care of you, because there
Mm.
were people out there that will try to take advantage of my business when I was out, because we're just talking about how I lost everything a couple times. Well, this was one of the times I lost everything because I was so sick. Not that I lost everything. I mean, I still have stuff, but it hit me hard, right? It basically wiped out everything, all my savings, everything else.
Yeah.
And so because I couldn't work, I mean, it just physically, I mean, all of 2024 was bad. And I didn't make very much money. So basically it drained me of everything that I built. And so now I'm on the rebound of rebuilding again. And in the real estate market right now, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
market's not great. People aren't really selling homes, people really aren't buying homes. So, I had to do a little bit of a pivot this year. I went back to commercial lending. So I'm doing commercial lending and retail lending.
Do you do home equity stuff as well?
You know, so I pretty much can do every type of loan that's possible.
I think what's huge to talk about also is depression and anxiety as such major factors with the population today. Maybe a future story about how you overcame that, because apparently the depression did fade at some point. Either you knocked yourself out of it or you changed your mindset. Was there a turning point when it left you?
Um,
Good stuff.
Honestly, when it's so what happened was when I got out of the hospital, had to move back in with my ex-wife. And so when I moved back in with my ex-wife, um, you know, it was not great.
But there were people around you. You weren't isolated.
There's people around me, but you know what? Actually, it got better is so I moved out back into my own place in August of this year,
Mm.
and that kind of changed everything. I'm happy again. I'm back to, I've got my dog. I got, it's just, I'm
You got
living,
yourself back.
I got myself back. And so I don't have the same depression like as I did before, because I kind of pulled myself out of that, and I'm living the life that I want to live now. And that's really changed a lot. I think when you're in a bad situation and and then you go back into another bad situation,
Sure.
Yeah.
that doesn't help. And so now that I'm out of all that, and now that got my own got my own thing going, got my own business going, things are going well with the business now. I've got 5 employees, so we've been growing, and so like all that is, kind of all right, there's a much brighter side now. And so, you do kind of I mean, honestly, you really do need to pull yourself out of it. I don't know if there's another, I mean, I know people go to counseling and people do other things, but for me, it was more of me just pulling myself out and say,
That's
look,
regular strength, though.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well, I'm so glad that you did.
so
Wow.
but you just kind of like, I don't know, but also I grew up in a family that you don't show emotions, you don't do anything. Like, I mean, you just did it. Like there was no like emotion in my family. Like, and so when I was growing up, it was very emotional. Like we didn't have emotions. So like you didn't show it, you just kind of buried it.
Yeah.
And and that was how I was brought up.
Yeah, it takes a toll.
Ooh, baby.
Well, Chris, I am so
I'm
glad
so
that
glad you're here, man.
yeah,
This is
that was
So,
time. I
well,
had
thank
no idea that it was as intense as it was. And I'm just grateful that you are still here, that you are getting back your footing. You are an incredible human. Like I said, we didn't even know each other and how you jumped in to save me that you had no reason to. And you just did it. I will never ever forget that. I was in a deep panic, and that was like a silly thing. Like I couldn't present my slides. Um, but so I will always forever be grateful and know that if I can ever help you in any way, I am there for it because
he's a Spartan.
he is a Spartan. He is a true warrior spirit. He is super stylish. So, listener, if you ever need a place to figure out where to get suits or shirts, is your shirt monogrammed with your name on it on the sleeve right there? Did I see that? Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, like super stylish, like.
Yeah, but more importantly, are you wearing pants right now?
Yes, I am.
Thanks.
I
That's
had I
like,
had a
yeah.
9 o'clock meeting, so yes, I did.
You didn't have
So,
to answer that or validate that question. I
Did
appreciate
I
that.
say pants or
Yeah,
Spanx?
yeah, exactly.
Spank?
Yeah, nice. So, Chris, we are so grateful that you took time to share with us your story. We're going to share your contact information. Obviously, we talked a little bit about what you do, mortgages, but we will share all that. So, listener, if you're listening, you know that when you partner with Chris on getting your home or your home equity, that he sees it differently than most people. He's there to really help people and give back. And I think that is an incredible characteristic of somebody. And we are just grateful that you are here, that you took the time to spend talking with us, and we were finally able to get you scheduled because I know we screwed up.
I know it's like
So
it's like tough. It's like because my schedule's all over the place sometimes, and then it's like okay, I was
And the
like, all
little, go ahead, you go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I was like, all right, this is it. I'm scheduling it, and we're just going to do it.
I'm
Get it
so
done.
glad that you did.
And a
Thank you.
little advice from your future older self: start living your childhood in small little pieces again. You owe it to yourself. Get a little
Okay.
crazy, baby. Get crazy.
I'm trying actually, to be honest with you. Trying
I
to
see it. I
relive
see your
them.
adventures. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm trying.
Well, Chris, thank you. Really, truly thank you. I'm wishing you all the most amazing things, and I look forward to us bumping into each other in person somewhere someday soon. Uh,
Same, yeah.
yeah, I would be grateful just to give you a big hug. So,
As retirees say, one day at a time.
is that what you say as
I
retirees?
say I'm 1 hour at a
That's like
time.
a thing, like in your private club.
I'm on the couch he spoke about. I had
Look,
depression twice. I'll tell you about my
We're going to
depression.
talk
Yeah.
about that. Thank you,
all
Chris.
right. I appreciate you guys having me.
We
Go forth and
appreciate you.
prosper. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
All
Bye.
right, bye.
Bye.
It's important messages for people because there's great anxiety out there because of the times. And depression is a very personal thing. Even if you're surrounded by people, things happen in your life. You get a little crazy, you get funky, you get into a deep black hole, and you're spiraling. There's no way to get out.
I only know about one time with you. We'll have to talk about offline by the other
You know,
time.
if you haven't had a depression in your life, you're not living. Go out, get depressed. You need to get depressed once, and then you get out of it, and you feel better.
I'm not sure that's the advice I'd like to give to our listeners. I think more about it is that lean into the people. Like if you are feeling alone, if you are feeling that you don't have people, there's always people there.
But I have a success of how I got out of my depression.
Do you want to share
Uh,
that now?
is it for now?
I mean, you can. This is a long
We're
podcast.
living in California, and went out there for business, and the business was not going well. You get a little, you get a little crazy. Things are very tough. Families out there are depending upon you. Get worse and worse. Get to the point you visualize yourself in a black hole, and you're spiraling down, and you really can't even see daylight. You don't want to eat. You can't sleep. It distorts time dramatically. And I wanted to take some sort of depression program. They were doing all kinds of programs, trial programs. My mother said, "You're not doing that. You get tough." She's an Israeli. I said, "I can't. I'm not that tough." So I live with it. And as serendipity comes into your life at specific particular times, I was a big proponent. One of my big sources of information, besides the Farmer's Almanac, was the National Enquirer. Believe it or not, I love that paper. It's great. And happened to see a National Enquirer, and the front page blasted all over thing, vitamins to take to cure your situation. I said, I got to look at this. Went inside and went right to the depression chapter because there was anxiety, there was all kinds of other things. You couldn't sleep. And in depression, they had a specific remedy for that, that when you're depressed, the body uses up most of the natural vitamins inside your brain. And this is just if you can take the large dosage of vitamin E along with a B complex and try it, apparently it'll regenerate some of the tissue in your brain. I said, E and B, I can do that. Went to the supermarket. I think at that time, vitamin E was maybe 1,000 milligrams, maybe 2,000 per day. You check it out. and B complex, and took it immediately, I think once a day, do some research. And literally within about 15 days, I was back to myself. The fog had lifted. I had more clarity on how to get out of this, what to do. You kind of regain yourself to some degree, but it was replenishing vitamins inside you that were being depleted because of the mental state. Which is when you think what you think you become, and even what you think you create different. You're a pharmaceutical machine inside. You create different chemicals, different things get used up all the time, and it was a godsend. It happened at a particular time. If I hadn't found that, there's otherwise you don't get out of it by yourself.
Wow.
So think about this, folks. If you're really having a tough time right now, try research the benefits of taking a maximum dose of vitamin E combined with B complex, and try it. Let us know.
But also consult a physician to make sure that you can take those things. We don't want to be liable for anyone taking something they shouldn't.
Yeah, when I say I'm Dr. Brown, it's just you really can't. I'm an NP.
He's a neuroproctologist.
I did help people remove their cranium from dark areas. So
I did not know that about you. So we're gonna have to chat a little bit more. I was probably about 15 or 16 and never knew that was going on.
You're in your own world. You're with the stars in Hollywood, living up in the hills, Heather Locklear, and all those people that are running around in California.
Story for another day.
Thanks, I can do it now.
Listener, we appreciate you listening. And certainly if you are feeling those feelings where you feel like there's no one there to support you, no one there to help you, please reach out. There are so many different resources. We will tag that in our episode as well too, because everyone's life is worth living. Everyone's life is worth being here. And we are so grateful we get to do this and talk about this and share stories like Chris's every single day. Everyone has a story. When you take time to slow down and learn what their story is, we make humanity even better. So thank you for being here.
We've done it again. Hey, give me a fist bump.
Boom.
See you next time. Hey, thank you for tuning into today's What's Your Story podcast.
To learn more or share your story, go to jamiemarco.com. That's www.jaimemarco.com. And we will see you next time.